In 2017, a worker at an industrial plant was seriously injured when a high-pressure hydraulic press catastrophically failed due to incorrect pressure settings. The cause? They never checked the manufacturer's specifications, which clearly stated a maximum pressure of 3,000 psi. The worker set it to 4,500 psi, thinking it would speed up production. The press exploded, sending metal fragments flying across the shop floor. Every year, thousands of workers are injured because work procedures don't follow the manufacturer's guidelines. Some injuries are minor, but others, like this one, are life-changing, or even fatal. This video will break down why using the manufacturer's operating manual is critical when developing safe work procedures, and how skipping this step can lead to disaster. For myself, going way back to before my career in health and safety, one of the first things I learned was to always refer to the manufacturer's operating manual, even to the point that now, when someone asks me about how to do something or where to start, I always say, "Why don't you go ask your mom, or what does your mom say about it?" In this case, mom being MOM, manufacturer's operating manual. I find in adding the slight humor to the context, it seems to make people remember to always include this in their process, and repeating it drives home the importance of referring to this extremely important document. So what is the purpose of a manufacturer's manual? Well, we need to know that it is more than just a booklet. It is a resource into the item that we are working with, much like a safety data sheet when we are working with hazardous materials. Now let's dive into some real-world examples and key sections of a manufacturer's manual. These manuals often contain crucial information like operating procedures, safety precautions, and troubleshooting tips. For instance, if you're using a piece of machinery, the manual will guide you through the correct setup, operation, and maintenance to ensure safe and efficient use. It's like having a roadmap that helps you navigate through potential issues and ensures that you're using the equipment as intended. Remember, taking the time to read and understand the manufacturer's manual can prevent accidents and save lives. According to OSHA, up to 75% of workplace incidents involving equipment are due to improper use or lack of proper procedures. So, let's think of a chainsaw. If you don't read the manual, you might not realize that improper chain tension can cause kickback, one of the leading causes of chainsaw injuries. A manufacturer's manual is designed for one purpose, keeping you safe while using equipment as intended. But too often, workers treat it like a throwaway pamphlet. What are some of the key sections of a manufacturer's manual and why do they matter? Safety warnings and hazards. Why do these matter? Well, they list critical dangers, necessary PPE, and potential hazards. Take for example an angle grinder. The manual warns about kickback risk if the wrong disc type is used. A worker in Texas lost his eyesight in 2019 because he used a wood-cutting blade instead of a grinding disc, causing violent kickback. Ignoring safety warnings isn't just careless, it can cost lives. Technical specifications. How are technical specs important to us? They give us information on preventing overloading, overheating, and mechanical failures. Does this really matter? Well, how about this scissor lift example? The manual specifies a weight limit of 500 pounds. A work crew ignored this and overloaded it with 700 pounds of materials, causing it to tip over, severely injuring 2 workers. The specs aren't just numbers. They're the difference between safe operation and disaster. Installation and setup instructions. Ensure proper setup before first use. Take this real-life example of an industrial drill press. A maintenance worker skipped the step of securing the machine to the floor, thinking it was unnecessary. When high torque was applied, the entire unit toppled over, crushing his leg. Even something as simple as secure to floor before use can be the difference between a normal day and an emergency room visit. Operating instructions. The operating manual will provide step-by-step procedures for safe use. Literally, this is perfect to just copy into your company's standard operating procedure for this item. Here's a real-life example of why this is important. In 2021, a new warehouse worker skipped reading the manual for a forklift and didn't realize that rapid turning while carrying a high load could cause tipping. The result? a rollover incident that cost the company $100,000 in damages and left the worker with serious back injuries. Operating equipment based on guesswork is a recipe for disaster. Maintenance and inspection requirements. Why do maintenance and inspection requirements matter? It prevents malfunctions and unexpected failures. Preventative maintenance can go a long way. How about this real-life example involving compressed air systems? Manuals specify draining moisture daily. A company neglected this, leading to rust buildup and a tank explosion. Skipping maintenance isn't just costly, it can be deadly. Troubleshooting and emergency procedures are crucial. They provide safe steps for handling malfunctions. Here's a real-life example involving an electric arc welder. A worker ignored the troubleshooting guide and tried to fix a grounding issue without shutting off the power. The result? A severe electrical shock that nearly killed him. Troubleshooting isn't about trial and error. It's about knowing what to do when things go wrong. The consequences of ignoring safety procedures can be severe, even life-threatening. It's essential to integrate these guidelines into everyday practice, ensuring that safety is never compromised. By doing so, we not only protect ourselves, but also our colleagues and the work environment. So if you don't want to follow your mom's instructions, what could it cost you? Studies show that up to 60% of workplace equipment failures are due to improper use or neglected maintenance, both things that manuals warn against. Here's a financial impact example. A manufacturing plant ignored motor maintenance recommendations, leading to a catastrophic motor failure that shut down production for 4 days, costing over $500,000. Besides financial, what about some legal consequences? In 2018, a construction company was fined $250,000 after a worker fell from a faulty scaffold that hadn't been set up according to the manufacturer's instructions. A few minutes spent reading the manual can prevent injuries, lawsuits, and lost profits. How to integrate manufacturers' manuals into work procedures. Require manuals to be reviewed before creating work procedures. Use manufacturer warnings in safety briefings and training. Post quick reference guides from manuals in work areas. Ensure maintenance teams strictly follow manufacturers' schedules. A well-developed work procedure isn't based on how we've always done it. It's based on verified manufacturer-approved safety standards. We've seen the risks, the injuries, the lawsuits, the preventable tragedies, all because a manual was ignored. The next time you develop a work procedure, start with the manufacturer's manual. Your life, your coworkers, and your company depend on it. If you found this valuable, feel free to share it with your team. Rewatch to jot down the notes. Have you ever seen an incident caused by ignoring a manufacturer's manual? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience could save someone else. Does your company ensure they utilize the manufacturer's operating manual when developing their work plan? If not, and you're the worker, make sure you ask for it before proceeding with the task. And remember, when you are going to start something new, go ask your mom.